ClaireDunne, thank you very, very much for joining me today for this interview and sharing your experiences with us. I guess before I start today, I would really like to know a little bit more about yourself, and then I'll dive a little bit deeper into the business side of things. And as you know, the WIRE program is very much focused upon, or this particular showcase series is very much focused upon trying to learn from entrepreneurial women like yourself in the regional rural space. So tell me a little bit more about yourself, please.
So I'm 24 years old. I grew up in regional, rural, central Queensland on a cattle property. And after going away to boarding school, I then went to university where I studied graphic design.
So Claire, before you continue, can I just ask, where did you grow up?
Central Queensland, so a cattle property, 40 minutes outside a small town called Duaringa, or 2 hours west of Rockhampton.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so then I went to university, didn't like what I was doing, deferred it, came back, worked home on the cattle property, travelled for a little bit, and then started the business that I have today, which is Graziher.
So how long have you been in business for?
I would say just over a year, very early. Yeah, not long, I mean.
Okay, that's really good because it kind of gives us a bit of an insight in the starting stages of your business and, you know, some of the challenges you must be still experiencing after this first year. Tell me about exactly what Graziher is all about.
So Graziher, it's fairly simple. It's just a publication, a print magazine that's printed 4 times a year. It's quarterly, and it just tells the stories of rural, regional and remote women. And it's essentially a collaboration between myself and contributors across Australia.
Okay, so and what kind of structure does your business have?
What's that like?
Like, is it solo, your partnership, or you incorporated?
Sorry, just solo at this point in time.
Just solo at this point in time. So in terms of, you're obviously linking, you just said you're linking with other people as well. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about partnerships as I go forward. But what I'd like you to tell me a little bit more is, in terms of your particular market, what exactly would they look like?
Oh, the demographic of a grazing arena. I think it's actually quite diverse. Rural women in general are diverse.
Yeah.
And from what I've gathered, it seems to be covering a really broad range from about 18 to 65 years old.
Okay.
Now at this stage. And it's generally rural and regional based, outer regional, not so much inner regional based readers who are interested in agriculture, farming, living on the land, rural communities, and everything that goes along with it.
And is that Australia-wide?
Yeah, it's Australia-wide, but it's definitely more East Coast based at this point in time. I'm slowly working my way across into the Western states.
Now, tell me, with your magazine, is that just only in print, or do you also have that in digital format?
It's only in print. We've already printed in print, but I'm about to release a digital version, I think, midway through this year.
Yeah, because I can just imagine, the opportunities to expand into the international market and so forth when you have your digital editions coming out and maybe pulling in other, international women and so forth. Yeah, I think that would be a fantastic market there.
It's definitely on the cards.
So, Claire, tell me about your identity as within this entrepreneurial space. How do you think about yourself in this space? Do you think of yourself as an entrepreneur, or, just tell me a little bit more about how you view yourself in this space?
I guess I do. A lot of entrepreneurial people don't like to think of themselves as that because I think it's an ongoing process. You never really reach the stage of being, entrepreneurial. But I still consider myself quite inexperienced. As I've said, I've only been doing this for a year. There's a lot to learn. I'm happy to learn off mentors constantly. But apart from that, I'm happy to call myself an entrepreneurial woman. I feel like I've started a business that is somewhat successful.
What's your favourite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
I do like being my own boss and being in charge of my day-to-day and not having to answer to anyone. That does have its downsides, however, like not being able to bounce ideas off a partner, etc. But yeah, that's probably it. And creating a lifestyle that allows me to have freedom and time for certain things is the goal, I guess, in the end.
And where do you currently live?
I'm actually currently in Rockhampton, so that's 2 hours away from the family property. I've just moved here just to kind of set up base for a little bit because we come from a big family, a lot of us are home at the moment, working on the property. I just needed a little bit more space.
Okay. What aspects don't you like all that much about being in this entrepreneurial venture of yours?
I'm a massive introvert, so any networking aspects I really struggle with. I really enjoy them, but it's a struggle. Putting yourself out there, again, anything that an introvert would struggle with, I guess. I do tend to not keep to myself, but you're doing your own company, so that's always a bit of a stretch. It's hard having pressures of the business being on you, like you're the end point, you don't answer to anyone. And deadlines, that's something I'm coming to terms with after having worked on a cattle property where there's not so much deadlines.
Yeah. Do you have a team, or is it mainly you that you take care of everything at the moment?
I am still bootstrapping in that sense. I'm doing a lot of things that could be outsourced, but I'm just not there yet. However, I do have someone in advertising and accounts who is amazing. And I consider my freelance writers I use on a regular basis, my team, like people who give me feedback and that type of thing. So I do feel I have a team of me as a family.
So, you're still quite in an early stage of your venture, which is really good because, some of our other entrepreneurs have been a few years down the track. So it's great to have somebody that's not too far down the track yet. So tell me a little bit then, how do you see success as you move forward? How would you kind of define success for you in the near future or down the track?
Well, I think success to me personally was always creating something that could be flexible and, again, integrate with my lifestyle. So I guess I'm working towards that. Success with the business is creating a genuine product that people genuinely like and want to read and continue to subscribe to, and that type of thing.
Okay.
And then their success is creating the Graziher community and, I guess, launching that into a new platform.
What about what sparked that? What sparked, or ignited that spark in the initial stages of you actually say, "Hey, I'm ready to start a business now"?
I don't know if you can ever be fully ready, but it was just I had been playing around with businesses for about 3 years.
Okay.
Then if they weren't getting anywhere, I'd just pull the plug. And this one I really felt, I'd validated it enough, and I really felt that there was something there that, I happened to like it a lot, so I was quite passionate about it. And yeah, so I think that kind of just...
What about, still early stages, there must be a lot of doubts in your mind. How do you deal with those doubts?
Yeah, it's very much like this, like the ride of an entrepreneur, up and down constantly. So I think dealing with doubts is identifying what it is, because I guess you're always going to have them. And I probably get enough, not trying to sound overly confident, but I get enough random emails from readers reading in saying how much they love the magazine. Kind of lets you know that you are ticking some boxes for some people, and that even when you are on the down, like, is this the right thing? Should I be spending so much time on this project? That it has been validated, that people want it.
Constantly getting that feedback from your clients, absolutely. What about how do you see your own skills moving forward? What do you think would be 2 or 3 skills that have really helped you in this last year, and that you think will also help you into the future?
I think it's the ability to be able to deal with failure and know that you are going to fail. Regardless of it worrying you, just kind of get past that you are going to fail no matter what. Having a bit of resilience. Again, there's going to be tough times that you question yourself, so that's a skill. I'd like to work on that a bit more.
Mm.
And productivity is probably a skill I'm really looking forward to working on. It's something every entrepreneur needs, but it's something I haven't fully grasped and been productive enough in doing.
How do you think about productivity? What does that mean to you?
I would say that's being really efficient with your time, being very organised, and simple things like working towards a fixed schedule and that type of thing, rather than what I do, which isn't the right thing, and that's probably posting stuff the hour that things are launched and that type of thing. So a lot more just organisation.
So you're obviously on a journey of learning at the moment. So would there be somebody out there that you really admire in the business space?
There are a lot. One big one is Tim Ferriss. He's like a bit of a world-known entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yes, and some other regional ones and remote ones are people like Simone Kane from George the Farmer and Ellie Russell. She's another young female who started up another magazine recently. And I'm always happy to have those, I guess, informal mentors that you can kind of just look at and see what they're doing and take advice from them.
So while we're on the issue of, you talk about informal mentors and so forth, what is your view on mentorship?
I think it's very important. And I guess I only have one mentor at the moment, but I have set myself the goal this year to take on another one or two, just people to talk to. They're so important, and they don't necessarily have to be, like for mine, they're not necessarily rural women who are my mentors.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you really need that other expertise from other fields to come on board and people to talk to who will openly tell you and give you advice, like honest feedback.
So do you have you had formal mentors, more formal and the rest informal, a combination of those, or mainly informal?
Mostly informal, maybe one proper mentor, but mostly informal at this point.
Okay. Now, I'd like to know a little bit more about how do you think, or what do you attribute your success to at this stage? Because it's, you're moving forward, you're trying to grow, etc. So up to now, what do you think?
I think that's a hard question.
Yes, I know.
Maybe if I look, I think the success of Graziher, I think I did get lucky. I had a really great launch from media in Queensland, and that is, I don't know, that's something people miss out on, even though they have great ideas. So Landline picked up my story. That was pretty much the launch pad into what it is today. Success also, like, it was even just the women who were so interested in the product when it was at the validation stage, them supporting Frazier, like that really again kicked it off, and that word of mouth. So I want to say a bit of luck, but also maybe just the success was that it happened to be a good idea that in an unfilled niche.
Have you had many barriers so far?
Barriers as in like learning how to be an editor, learning how to publish a magazine. Never had any. I had 1.5 years of graphic design, so I did have the graphic design element, like publishing, editing, distributing. So learning those types of things. I guess physical barriers of living 2 hours out from a post office.
And how do you kind of, when you do hit some of these barriers, how do you pick yourself up?
Pick myself up. Well, if there's ever any issues, I'm happy to self-educate through the internet or Google. Like, I think you can pretty much dig yourself out of any hole by Googling and finding what other people have done.
I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the strategies that you've used so far in your business. From what I heard previously, it seems to me that you may have an idea maybe to go international in the future. Is that correct?
Yes, I'll definitely try. It's still, I don't feel I've perfected the Australian one yet enough. I'll definitely be going into New Zealand, international. Possibly, but that's quite a big market. So I don't know if I'm that ready. I would definitely take on other people for that type of project.
Yeah, it's interesting because even for the WIRE program, even just people signing up for the WIRE program, it's a Queensland program at the moment. But I actually have people from New Zealand that sign up as well. So
I travel frequently to New Zealand. My partner lives there, so I'm quite familiar with the rural women.
Okay, yeah.
They're really amazing, so I assume they'd be interested in something like this.
That's right. Now, when you started this magazine and still early stages now, do you have a very particular vision for yourself, or is it a more organic process for you?
Oh, it's definitely a bit more organic, as I said, with an organisation. The vision overall is to, I guess, build it a bit bigger, keep building it. I do have an end game, and then just, yeah, it's fairly organic, I won't lie.
So do you have like a business plan or something in place, or is that, have you just kind of started and, rather just kind of start doing the things and see how it unfolds?
Up until about 2 months ago, that's what my plan was, just to take it day by day. I didn't feel I had enough magazines out there to fully put a business plan in place. And I've started on one, but I haven't finished it. So I am working on one, even though I didn't think I needed it, but then I did talk to people and I can see the benefits of having it.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how you promote your business and also maybe some of your marketing strategies that you use.
So most of the Graziher promotion is done through social media. We've got a decent social media and it's quite active, which is great. So it's Facebook and Instagram. I don't really go near Twitter yet, I'm just focusing on those two. And that's mostly the strategy was for Instagram, so it was just reposting other people, so that was there, getting them involved, getting them engaged. And another one that I've really worked on is my newsletter database. That's really helpful. And kind of gone into a little bit of Facebook advertising. That you really have to know what you're doing there, so you don't waste money.
Yeah.
And word of mouth's been great as well. That's something I'm happy to rely on a little bit more than I should.
Have you got a favourite tool, online tool?
I use Shopify for my e-commerce store. They have a lot of good apps, like MailChimp. I don't know if that's really a tool, MailChimp. Xero is great for accounting. I've got a couple of other apps that aren't really, they just help me get organised, like Pocket. You can organise all the different tabs and ideas you have. I'm getting into more scheduling organisation, like Hootsuite and those types of apps.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think there's definitely the systems are getting in place by the sound of it. Yes, you mentioned earlier that you're bootstrapping at the moment, so I assume you haven't been funded as such, or are you interested in attracting funding, or what is your particular view on the funding side of things?
Do you mean funding through governments or like other larger businesses? Or?
Yeah, potential investors in your business to make it much bigger.
I haven't really thought about it. I have had a couple of initial offers to take like a partner on, like say 50-50. I wasn't ready for that because I felt I didn't have my vision down pat yet, so how could I invite other people on? I would be interested. I think I am interested. I wanted to do another 3 editions and kind of open the floor after that to see if it can grow bigger.
And what's your views going forward in terms of your own growth of your business? Have you got specific plans in mind for that?
I definitely have numbers I'd like to reach, and there's definitely audiences I know I haven't reached. So in my mind, they're kind of untapped.
Yeah.
And that's something, again, I'm working on in the next 2 months to reach those.
Tell me, Claire, what's your view on networking and maybe the value of that as a young entrepreneur?
I think networking is great. I'd like to get better at it, but I just and as you are, if you want to do physical face-to-face networking, again, if you live in a rural area, it can be a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
There's some great networking events out there that I have gone to. My first one was a QRAN, Queensland Rural Regional Remote Women's Network. And that was when I was 22, I think. And that actually kind of validated and helped me get enough confidence to start Graziher.
Yeah.
I think networks are really important.
Yeah, Kieran's obviously also one of our partners on the project. So, yeah. Um, just in terms of still on the networking side, I guess, you said you're a bit of an introvert. So, in today's day with digital, you don't necessarily have to do all the face-to-face stuff. There's so much networking that can be done online and so forth. So, I think these days there's very much an equal platform for introverts and extroverts in terms of networking and how you want to reach out to people and so forth. So it's not like the previous years where you always had to do it face to face. So that's actually great. I guess just probably 2 or 3 more questions. And I know the journey hasn't been that long for you, but what has been your greatest lesson that you've learned so far?
My greatest lesson, maybe to not worry about failure again, just to have a go, put yourself out there, just start something. It's been a really good answer.
Do you think that was your most difficult aspect, was just to start initially?
I think so. Again, as I said, I did have those other businesses I attempted to start, and they're probably a bit half-hearted. I probably sat on the idea of Graziher for 3 months as well before I did anything. You'll probably be able to validate an idea like that within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So it's just starting, because I guess you're putting something out there as a person, you're quite private. You're putting something out there that is going to be critiqued by everyone who reads it. So that's, I guess you're up against failure. It doesn't really matter. Everyone fails.
So if there's any particular recipe or specific guidelines that you want to provide to other women entrepreneurs in our program, for example, and that's listening out there, that's listening to you, what would that be?
Is this for starting a business?
Yeah.
I would say probably finding an idea initially. I would say identify a niche. It's quite popular to go niche, and I recommend that. Validate the idea, and you want to do that as cheaply as possible. And it's really easy these days through, you get WordPress blogs for free. You have a free Shopify account for 15 days, and you shut it down. Social media. So the niche, validate. Bootstrap. You're probably going to have to bootstrap it unless you've got great funding from the get-go. Don't be afraid to have you got something that you have absolutely no idea about. And after that stage, if it does have a great launch, you really have to hustle, I guess, kind of continue that momentum from the launches. Start reaching out to possibly, I don't know about the word influence, it's been a bit overused, but those type of things to keep you going. And really build your community. So I'd focus on your community before you focus your energy outwards. So you've really got to get that base community interacting and engaging.
How do you do that with your community?
Again, that's something I'm working on, but mostly it's just chatting to people through Instagram. That's where you can start. Replying to people who reply back to my newsletters that you send out, making an effort, replying to blog posts. Just interacting, being genuine. And I'm looking to further that by making some Facebook groups which are quite specific to different streams, like a Graziher business stream, a Graziher lifestyle stream, and those type of things, just to get more smaller like-minded people that are interested in what we can offer.
You're obviously having an impact on other people through them reading the stories and your newsletters, but also your magazine about other women and so forth. If you can think of maybe one amazing thing that you would want to create in the future, is there something like that?
I saw that question. I didn't really know how to answer it. I think something else amazing. I don't know. For Graziher, I'd love to have a scholarship or something.
Yeah.
That's something I'm looking at doing if I get big enough. But I don't know. Most of the amazing things seem to come from the community itself and the stories that I've already written. So I feel publishing women's stories that are going to now keep for the next 20, 30 years. So that's nice. That's a nice thing, I think.
Absolutely. Just before we finish off, because I just have a question in the back of my mind in terms of the kind of stories that you publish in your magazine. What kind of stories do you publish in your magazine?
So they're human interest stories. So it's mostly everyone has a story essentially. Mostly they're women who Well, it's a bit of everything. So,
Okay.
yeah. So it could be small businesses,
Yeah.
someone who started something, someone who's gone through a trial, a career. We could be a career, nurses, etc.
Okay. Where can we find you online, or if we want to get in touch with you, more on a personal basis via Facebook and so forth?
Facebook's great. Just like Facebook/Graziher, Instagram, and the website, which is just graziher.com.au. So yeah, Facebook's probably the easiest to touch base immediately.
Okay. Claire, thank you very, very much for your time today. I think there's a lot of other women out there and young women who's very much in a similar position as yourself, but maybe a year earlier. They're thinking, okay, well, I really want to get into this, but, I don't really know how to do it. And then, there's a 20-something women like yourself who's actually made a decision and say, yep, I'm going to do it. Take the bull by the horns, and you're actually living it at the moment. So, I really wish you luck for moving forward with your journey, and we will be keeping a close eye on you. And hopefully a little bit down the track we can sit again and have a chat, and you can have a lot more new lessons that you can share with women out there as well. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super.